you have a business where you're pushing for sales, don't even push for the sale if the customer's not interested to begin with. Or don't push for the sale if the customer's not even a fit to begin with. And a lot of the companies right now, the big ones, are still doing this. And it's horrible for our customers. That's the thing. Time is the greatest treasure here. And with customer service and sales, when you make deliberate mistakes and when you compromise the integrity of your sales, yeah, you get money for sure, but in exchange to that.
Hello. Welcome to another knowledge bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Daniel Viduya. If this is your first time joining us, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell and hit that like button. This will be greatly appreciated in helping getting out this content to great leaders and great individuals like yourself. Daniel has mastered the art of customer service and sales for more than 1 decade. Daniel firmly believes that sales are not just simple sales. Sales are about consulting and recommending what is best and suitable for the need of the customer or client. Please help me welcome Daniel with creating a raving customer culture. This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
I have been in customer service and sales since 2013. So over 10 years now. When I was working in sales development, my previous company that I was working for decided to say, hey, would you like to visit Mexico and help us open an office there? I said, sure, let's do it. And then from there, as I lived in Mexico for a few months, I fell in love with the place. And so that's how I decided to apply for residency. I was approved by the Mexican embassy. And then ever since then, I've been living here since 2020. I'm about to become a permanent resident this December. It's not always been an easy path for me when it came to my life being in Mexico. Before that, when I was in the Philippines, I lived a simple life, grew up in a simple family, fixed income. We had $10 a week as a budget for our groceries. We had, if you had a family of five, under $10 a week. So grew up eating mostly vegetables. At some point, I became homeless. I found myself sleeping in park benches, picking up after food that people would throw in the trash that they couldn't finish, and so I'd finish it. I had that difficult life, but working my way through and just finding that inning and starting with customer service, I swore to myself that I would work hard and reach my dreams someday. I always loved the idea of traveling, and that's why I decided to move out of the country, because I think that moving out of the Philippines and into Mexico was one of the dreams that someone formed later on, knowing that I love traveling. Here I am.
Wow. Coming from, like you said, being homeless, and here you are now. I want to talk a little bit about the customer service and sales. Let's talk a little bit about that. What's the story behind that journey?
I used to be contractor for T-Mobile,
Okay.
and they told us, look, you all will be doing customer service. I was like, great. And sales. I was like, oh, how is that so? And that's where it all started. And it's such a challenge. Many of you would even think it's like, oh my God, I'm listening to one of the people who probably tried to sell me something when I was upset before. It's like, probably it was me. But, here's the thing. It all started there, and it sounded so daunting and so impossible that I didn't think that it could be possible, but it is possible. Now, if you ask my opinion, do I feel that it's consistently right for me to do that? Of course not. There are still some cases that I do regret having to do my job, but there are also some cases that I feel that it is necessary for me to do customer service and sales. But I think that customer service bears a great importance in being able to do sales. And I think we could talk more about that and help our audience, give our audience some clarity around that.
Yes, let's go ahead and give us some clarity around that, because most of us, we have a perspective of customer service and sales. You hear the word sales, it's like a cringe. And I kind of want you to talk about this. But before you do that, I want you to talk a little bit about those challenges.
I will be honest about this because I think that it's not just a T-Mobile. I did this with AT&T, but I think it really all started with T-Mobile, and more of the mistakes that I committed was with T-Mobile. And that is that because of the pressure that was placed on us and being able to meet our sales targets, my biggest mistake was I was inclined to fixing a problem for sure, but in my mind, it was all about sales. It's just being able to make a sale. And that's every amateur's predicament and proclivity in falling into that mistake when they're starting out in customer service and sales. Because when you literally think of the word sales, you said cringe, right? It is a cringe.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing phone calls myself, I would literally offer to change the plan of a customer who was in a legacy plan. We're talking about a plan, I even forgot the name. I think it's called Suntel. It's an extremely old plan that would cost $5 a month. Or that I would resolve the concern, but then I would always try to offer an additional line when we have that push to offer additional lines, even when the customer did not really need it. That's one of the biggest challenges and problems that I face in sales, is that I really could not make a sale that was tailored to the customer's needs. I was not able to make a sale that would really stick, and I was not able to make a sale that really made any sense. Basically, I was blindly selling, is what it was. Moreover, I was trying to resolve customer concerns, and that was another whole pain point in itself. I think that's my biggest predicament at the time.
How do you maintain the integrity with those type of sales deadlines? What would you say to an individual that's in sales, and also what would you say to a company, for us entrepreneurs that's on here and we're in that type of business? I mean, what type of approach should we have?
I went into AT&T and started also selling.
Okay.
But I think that the biggest lessons I've learned amongst all these is that the integrity of your sales can only be truly honest and important and necessary if the customer really needs it and if the customer truly wants it. What I've learned down the years is that your sales will not stick through if that necessity is not even created. If the reason why they even just did this was to clam you up, because sometimes they will do that. Or furthermore, is that if the only reason why you really did the sale is because you wanted that revenue, but your customers are not getting that good experience. Because that's another predicament with sales. Sometimes you say, oh, you should switch to us because we're cheaper. The word cheaper always comes into play, but then you don't know what dangers you're putting your customer in by doing so, by doing that. Like sometimes you would offer a better TV package and the impression that it's cheaper, but customers actually lose their channels. Or that he'd offer an internet bundle, but then the speed that is available in the area is much lower than what the competitor is offering. I honestly fell into that predicament before, and customers churned or complained because of that, and I'm not proud of it. And that's my feedback to many of our listeners here. If you have a business where you're pushing for sales, don't even push for the sale if the customer's not interested to begin with. Or don't push for the sale if the customer's not even a fit to begin with. And a lot of the companies right now, the big ones, are still doing this. And it's horrible for our customers. That's the thing. Time is the greatest treasure here. And with customer service and sales, when you make deliberate mistakes and when you compromise the integrity of your sales, yeah, you get money for sure, but in exchange to that, you're stealing time from your customers that could have been better spent doing something else.
Wow.
And that is the ugly truth. I think that I could have done better in truly finding out if they really needed the service or not. But because I was under that pressure to meet the quota, just push for it,
Let me share a quick story that happened with me. This was maybe about a month ago. So I got a text message talking about, free phone or whatever, iPhone 14. So I called, and the lady, she was on there. She was so super nice and everything. What really disconnected me from her, I've been with T-Mobile forever and have this grandfather plan. My plan it's amazing. And the lady, she was kind of in a sense trying to convince me to leave my plan to get a new plan and I will get the phone. And so I asked a question. I'm like, will this interfere with my current plan? She said, yes. After that, I was done. At that moment, before all that happened, she was just a nice lady. I'm like, oh man, yeah, I was enjoying the conversation. But after that happened, when I seen that trust was broken, because I'm like, man, you're about to put me in a horrible situation, and my bill goes up $100 and something. I was done. I hung up the phone and I was done with the conversation.
And I could tell you why. Maybe I'll just give you this intelligence why, so you understand why she was
Okay.
inclined to do that. She doesn't get any revenue or any quota from selling an iPhone. None.
Mm.
The phones don't come with a quota. It's the change of plans that come with a quota.
Oh man.
That's why she was trying to do it. That's because that's the policy for pretty much every telecommunications company that I'm aware of that is, and I've worked with many call centers. So I have many friends that work in the call center industry.
Yeah.
That's, we share insights, and it's such a shame
Yeah.
because our pressure to do that. You see, this is the classic example of what I'm telling you that pushes people to do this when really the point is you shouldn't be, but because they are pressured to do so,
Jeez.
it sacrifices the experience, the greatness of a conversation. It
Yeah.
compromises the trust. And you're right, your grandfather plan, if you love that plan, if you don't want to mess with that plan, don't, because they cannot bring that back. Not even management will bring that back.
Yeah.
It is very hard to bring, and I've seen horrific situations where they couldn't bring back the plan. Let's talk about another example here that talks about great customer service, and honesty here. I'm going to go with American Express. Not many people like many American Express. They prefer Visa, MasterCard, but there's this thing about great customer service and somewhat sales that tells me that I stuck with American Express. American Express's sales is when they offer you an additional card. Obviously, when you pay for the annual fee, that's the sales part, right? Because you have to pay for the annual fee.
Hmm.
That's the revenue right there. I am a gold card member.
Mm.
They offered me the platinum card, and I said to myself, okay, but before signing up for the platinum card, I had a bit of a problem with my gold card when it came to the rewards, because my father, in fact, right now is going through some aggressive treatments in the Philippines, and I need to fly home to see him. And my rewards points were not reflecting in my account just yet. I typically had to wait for between 8 to 12 weeks. So I called American Express. I said, look, this is my situation right now. Is there any way that I could get this expedited? I just paid my bill. And this is their line. It's like, this is what they told me. It's like, look, you're a great American Express member. Even if you're new, you are a valued member just as any of our customers are. And thank you for paying your bill on time. Let me go ahead and do my best to expedite the points for you. Put me on hold for 2 minutes. It's like, hey, you just check your app right now. We've just released your points and you should
That's
be able to
amazing.
transfer those over to your airline partner.
Amazing.
We thank you for being a valued member of American Express. And by the way, just want to let you know, you're also qualified for a platinum card. It seems like you're traveling a lot. Why don't you go ahead and check out this platinum card and see if the benefits actually fit you? So look, there is a $6.90 annual fee for this card, but I think that with you traveling and with you accessing lounges and all this, I think it's going to offset the expenses you're making, but we wanted to check if you would be interested. They didn't even try to push it for me. They just
That's
said, you'd be
crazy.
interested.
Yeah.
So I did. I signed up because that's how great customer service was supposed to be done. They tailor fitted the card based on my needs to
Mm.
be, because I'm a traveler.
Yeah.
So they didn't just sell it to me blindly. They knew that I would benefit from that. Because if you talk about the cost of lounge access, which is normally $50 to $60 per entry, if you talk about priority passes, which is around $100 license, if you talk all about these, it's going to rack up, and you're actually offsetting the annual fee with those benefits.
Mm.
So they did give it to me in the perfect fit. That was a sale with integrity, a complete opposite. And now I'm a happy American Express member. I've accessed this interior lounge how many times? I think 6 times now. So that's at least $300 worth of
Oh man.
and I have the priority pass, which is around $400 already offset. But
Yeah.
moreover, I've referred 4 customers to them
I
already.
was just getting ready
For
to
paying,
tell you that. If I have that type of
yeah,
experience with a service, I'm telling everybody. Now I'm a salesman because of my
yeah.
experience. This is what I got. Daniel, I want you to do something because I think this is great. Look at that situation. I want you to pick out what American Express did here and how can someone that's into customer service and sales, how can they integrate this into their philosophy?
What American Express did was that they were consistent with the way they treated me.
Hmm.
They told me I am a valued member every single time, from the call center reps that are based in India, the call center reps that are based in the United States, the call center reps that are based in the Philippines, the reps that are in the Centurion Lounge in the United States, the reps that are in the Centurion Lounge here in Mexico. They made me feel valued every single time. Customer service and sales is only feasible when you give that consistency to your customers. You make them valued every single time and you make them feel like you're a human being yourself. Mr. Viduya, we're sorry to hear that your father is falling sick, and I see the urgency of why you need to travel to the Philippines. Let me see what I could do to get your points released as soon as possible. Many people know it takes 8 to 12 weeks to get a sign-up bonus, especially around 60 to 80,000 points. It takes a long time to get that released, but they released it for me because my father is in critical condition. They felt for me and they stood by me, and they still tell me that I am a valued member. You know, I never heard that from MasterCard or Visa or any of my other cards that I hold. It was only with American Express. And even if the charges are high, I gladly paid them because I felt valued. That's what American Express did. It's the consistency. There are around 100 Filipinos living in Guadalajara alone, and I told them about my experience, and they're interested too. You know, that's the power of great customer service. Your sales will naturally come through. You don't even have to push for it if you only treat your customers well.
Daniel, that is a knowledge bomb. I'm loving this because here's the thing. You just explained an example. I explained an example, and my experience and your experience is two totally different experiences, but something you said, and I want to lead to greatness, the entrepreneurs, the business startup, the leaders, in these organizations. I want you to get this concept because, Daniel, what you basically said, you said that consistency, that's the culture of the company, to be consistent like that. So culture is very important. And we just talked about and just broke down two perspectives of culture, and I was unsatisfied and you were extremely satisfied.
And it doesn't have to come from it doesn't always have to come from the United States. People think that, oh, great service can only come from onshore. No, this great service that I received from American Express was actually a rep from India, and the other one was from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And the other one was from the United States too, called different departments. But you see, it's consistently great. I will tell you the saying, Cedric, what is the difference between being good and being great? Being good is just showing that you're good at something. You're good at your work. You know what to do, but then your attendance sucks. What makes you great is when you're consistently good, when you consistently show that you are good. That's what being great is. And my supervisor back in 2013 told me that because I had problems with my attendance. I was a good person. I was good with what I did, but I was not great because my attendance was compromised. You know what? You're good. You could be great, and you could be a future leader if you start taking care of yourself and you start consistently being good. So you could be great. And that's what she told me 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, I was a call center agent, and now I'm a leader. That's what she told me. And I want to share that with leaders out there, to share that with your people so they are inspired to also grow in the role.
Daniel, knowledge bomb. This is amazing. This is amazing. I love this. I love this. And you just constantly echoing, tailor making the service to the individual. And I think this is so great. And this is something that we can all take away from this interview right here. I'm looking from my angle, is to your left. It says Support Zebra. I want you to talk a little bit about Support Zebra.
Support Zebra supports e-commerce, SaaS, and any brand that looks into scaling and augmenting their customer service. We create great customer experience in every single transaction and conversation. If you're looking to scale your customer service, if you're looking to build your customer service, if you're looking to augment that, because right now you're having problems with customer service, we'll help you with that. We'll create great experiences for you because your customers deserve for them to know that you are a good brand, and we know that you are, but sometimes we just brands have a hard time conveying that, and that's what Support Zebra does. We represent your customer service, and we are the voice that cares for your customers. That's who we are. And it sounds like I'm pushing for Support Zebra. Not really. Going back into a quick lesson about sale. This is more in the B2B side because some of your listeners here are doing B2B. I will tell you this out of personal experience. I'm a salesperson with Support Zebra. There's no use in trying to push for a sale if your customers are not ready for it. Don't even push for it super hard if you know they're not ready. Why? They will churn. What's worse is you might even lose them. You have to be patient when it comes to sales. You have to have that patience and know when the time is right. My pipeline is big, and I have like, I don't know, 70, 80, 100 leads sitting in my pipeline since I started building this in October of last year, because none of them are ready, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. Our leaders should understand that as well. It's a matter of timing. You cannot force your customers into giving in to your sales targets. It doesn't work that way. They can only stick with you if they see that they can work with you and if there is any benefit at all from working with you. But until then, you need to have the patience.
Knowledge bomb. How do you know when the customer or the client is ready to buy?
It's both sides. It's not about the readiness, but more the urgency that, yes, you do need this, Okay. So asking them questions like, look, how's your customer service setup right now? How's your CSAT doing right now, your NPS? How's your growth pipeline and your trajectory looking like for you right now? How does overhead and backup look for you right now? Asking these simple questions allow me to analyze the situation, see that, yes, you do need this right now, or maybe you don't need it. But then on the other side, on the customer side, how do I know that they're ready is when they tell me that, look, you're weighing your options right now. I ask for their honest feedback. If they're not interested to move forward, I can't force them. I could tell them that, look, you told me that you're having problems with your customer service. You have problems with consistency and performance and scaling this up. What I recommend to you is that this is what we do for you so that you can address these problems. But if they're not ready to move forward, even if I presented them the solution, if they say that they want to weigh their options, I'm not going to block them from doing that. I need to respect that, because I want them to feel that I am genuinely their advocate and giving them knowledge and giving them the steps that they need to take to resolve their problems. Yeah. And should they want to take this internally? Should they want to take this with another option? Should they want to take this later on? The choice is up to them. So it's both sides. I weigh the readiness to buy from my questions, but I also weigh the readiness to buy from what they tell me. I don't force them to take a different direction. I somewhat sail with them and steer the boat based on what direction they want to go. Because at the end of the day, they are responsible for their brand.
Daniel, that's another knowledge bomb. You're dropping loads of
it's all experience. Yeah. It's all learned experiences. Bad ones and good ones.
From your experience, what are some practical leadership growth tips, tools, advice that you can share with the Lead to Greatness community to help us reach our greatest potential?
A great leader is one who encourages their people to surpass them. I will say that because my supervisor before, she is right now a manager for business excellence for a call center. I've surpassed her role, but I couldn't have had that mindset had she not given me that mindset. But she's nevertheless proud of me. And even if I've surpassed her level, I will never think that I'm above her. But by me being able to see myself do things like that only allows me to believe that all of us are equally competent to surpass the roles of our leaders or to become leaders ourselves, because we choose to. And so time and time again, when I've coached people from different walks in life and from different call centers that I've been in, from different companies that I've worked with, I always told them, one day I want you to become a leader, and I don't want you to stop there. Do your best to go even above and beyond me if you can. All of us are human beings that are brilliant, and you have the choice to do so when you want it. You have that option. My dad always told me that everyone is smart. They just have to choose to be smart. You want your people to become great, encourage them to surpass you and encourage them to be great. Support them in what they need to become great leaders in the future. I don't know how many times you've heard that saying or that challenge.
And it definitely identify who's the great leaders and who's the leader that's not intimidated or have insecurity issues and really want to lead and develop people under them. I mean, this is great.
Leadership never lasts forever as a human being. It never lasts in you. At some point, you're going to become frail. You're going to become weak. You're going to become old. And if you have not created great leaders as you age, what did you do? That's the thing, right? If you did not create an example for other people, if you did not develop them, then what did you truly do? So I'm not afraid and I'm not intimidated. In fact, I am inspired to help people reach their full potential because I think that all of us deserve that equal chance. I was homeless at some point. I ate from the bin. I ate food from the garbage, or I walked 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers just to go to a friend's house to be able to have to eat something for that day. So I will never be intimidated to encourage people to grow in their career and grow with what they have, because everyone deserves that equal chance.
That's great, Daniel. Knowledge. Daniel. This is great. If someone wanted to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
They can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Daniel Viduya. You also can go to supportzebra.com. I thereby and hereby solemnly swear that I'm not going to try to sell you anything. If you're only curious to know what it's like to operate Support Zebra, what are the best practices, I'm here to answer any questions you have, and I will only start being persistent if you give me the permission to do so, if I see that there is any urgency. Until then, connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to share any knowledge that I have.
On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
Thank you for having me too.
Yes.
It is great. Thank you, Cedric.
So we want to thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself. So we want to thank you for joining us today. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.